Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be an extended of the daily Dharma number one posted from the same date. And if you have already looked at those messages, I hope that you are as excited as I am to continue the momentum of that reading. For those who do not want to go back there, I hope that you can get just as much out of starting here. The card may be triggering. Look away if you don't like blood. It's the severed head of Kali in this number 20 Chinnamasta, however you say it. And we're talking about our destined overcoming of some long-standing pattern that has unfairly or unjustly been restraining or restricting our forward momentum. But it's time this year to overcome that, and there's a need to release to receive. So I wanted to read this number 20 card, and I was trying to read so fast and it cut me off. I'm going to start at the beginning of this card. So the Kali card number 20. Sacred severance is her radical grace. She is our soul's power to shed and to survive, to outgrow and evolve. When the soul needs to separate itself from that which it once relied upon, be it a view of ourselves or of the world, or a group or belief system that cannot support the truths of the heart, she is the capacity, sovereignty, and courage required for self-liberation. Systems of oppression within your mind and your world will be overcome. You have the power to sever your attachment to the past and to focus on inner regeneration and reorientation, healing into a path that is worthy of your heart. So I want to just read a little bit more. She's a divine feminine avatar, self-decapitated and partaking of her own blood that emerges from the throat. And I did have the throat in quite a bit of during the pre-shuffle, and we have the communication card on the deck or on the desk here. The name translates as beheaded. She signifies a powerful activation of the spiritual path through the confrontation of oppressive behaviors, self-limiting attitudes, and intellectual dominance of intuition. The head is the symbol of the known, of thinking, of forms of authority. It's the head that wears the crown, the sign of status and power. Unrestrained by authority, she is able to overpower it. And we had talked about unrestrained by judgments, able to receive fresh, spontaneous, heartfelt input. She's able to overpower the lower forces. For our human selves, the head is the locus of control, which this has been in my mind for several days, and I didn't realize that it said this until I went to post the preceding video, the number one video. So that locus of control is like, what is the point that we're operating from at 333? Is it the logic and, well, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to do the safe. I'm going to do the tried and true. No, we're here as innovators, as explorers, adventurers, and risk takers on some level. So this is initiation. You won't possibly understand what's happening in the moment, and you won't know how everything's going to turn out. This is as it's meant to be, and not something you need to worry or to fight against. It's potent medicine for liberation. This differentiates her from others that in the Kali depictions where they have the severed heads in their necklace or on their crown. It's her own head. So this is self-liberation. Is showing the way to save ourselves, to move from inner courage and inner wisdom. And this can indicate a time where you have to trust yourself completely without those external support systems or validation. The beliefs and constructs that once supported you will no longer be able to do so. And you may have some cognitive dissonance interfering with your ability to follow your own highest guidance. It's like that Alanis Morissette song. What does it say? Something about, it's something like, isn't it ironic? Like the best something advice that you just can't take. Yeah, so follow that intuitive spark. Yeah, the real you is breaking free into more life, not less. And sometimes old systems have to fail or fall in order for the new order to take shape and form in your own life. So your real self is powerfully coming up to the surface, where perhaps you've underestimated your potential, your value, your spiritual rank, potentially. And this is shedding those false layers to radiate your own inner beauty and wisdom more freely, and I'm hearing fiercely. So, being nourished by change instead of devoured by it is important. And you're going to, through that process, gain more energy for your continued evolution. So, releasing tendencies to self-sabotage through ignoring our intuition, truth, and needs. We have the power to get out of our own way here. So what an introduction at 6 minutes. Yeah, I do think that many of you would get a lot out of watching that first video. I will try to link the 2 videos in the description box below the video for each one, so that you can watch that and get any messages that you need. I don't want to go through everything that was already going on here, but it's like this sustainer here is the capacity to self-evolve and self-liberate from the desert, the stagnant period, the feeling of unloved, unbelonging, isolation, loneliness, which is often quite an integral part of many of the healers and old souls and psychonauts, because it's sometimes quite difficult to both be yourself and be accepted, especially in youth, where most individuals will encounter very conditioned and what's that word? There's a word for the so-called normal people that can just absorb into the mainstream and function at some level in and amongst that vibration, where the others of us are here not to conform. Maybe that's the word that wanted to come through. And in our non-conforming selves, we're able to really powerfully release ourselves into our fullness, and we model for others that it's okay to be themselves, or creates more fear for them. I'm not sure what can happen with that, but there's an unmasking process, and maybe you're the one who can validate that process for others who are in their own process of becoming. But we do have, from coming out of the desert, we have the river. I hope that call wasn't interfering with my memory or the ability to record here. The river comes in to soothe, and it's that river of intuition that it is somewhat illogical, but in the interest of non-conforming beliefs and magical capacity, we can understand how, it stands to reason as I follow that river, why I would be held up from success for that extra month, because then I didn't have to perhaps like compete for a leadership position. That leader, authority figure, was perhaps taken out of that role by their own doing or moving. Maybe they moved away from this, vacating a position that now you can move into and navigate on some level. And so if this is coming up for you, stay tuned. Let's see. So what is this destiny calling? So maybe this isn't the right deck. I really wanted to get some tarot, perhaps. Okay, yes. Time to make a demonstration. Excuse me. So there's something here, 1010, completion of a cycle and a need for you to reveal and unmask your own inner truths as they're coming into your awareness. You are able to set a new standard, a new precedent, a new way of being. Send them love, wish them peace, see them happy, everyone, always, forever, and prepare to be astounded. The universe. And P.S. Oh man, will you ever become a big time manifester? And there was something earlier too about that. The precipice of the changing seasons in the Northern Hemisphere, of course, at the time of this broadcast, we're moving from winter into the springtime with our eclipse portal. And so this is the transformative time where the earth is coming fully awake. And we're calling this today the portal of manifesto, and where things that are below the surface or apparently dead in my area of the world. I'm fairly far north, so we have snow in the winter, and everything kind of enters that hibernation time, and certain birds and other animals will go away for a season and return later. So there's something about that, things that we can release. If you love something, give it room to grow, and if it returns, something like that. I hope that you know that saying. I can't always pull in those things while I'm in the channel. But there's that manifesto portal here, and then in the fall or in this time, it may be turning to, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it may be the opposite switch. So you may be moving into the dying away phase right now. But that is evidence of the ultimate rebirth. So this is the faith portal, I'm calling that. And if you're in our climate, then this fall, it will require a lot of faith to continue whatever is being activated within your being now. So there's this card flew out on the table. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. So comparisons are odious because they presume all other things are equal, which is never the case between me and you, the universe. So don't fool yourself by the appearances of how others are able to navigate or able to create these connections. Sometimes we can get lost in the awareness of how simplistic others seem to be able to navigate their world and to just deal with things, when old souls are here remembering so many other aspects, so many individuals in their adaptation to their environment. It almost seems to be like they're the lucky ones, but are they indeed? Because there's another saying that I'm missing right now, something like your ability to attune and conform to a toxic environment doesn't mean that you have it figured out. You're just resonating with toxicity. And for some reason, it's no longer enough for us to allow that to subdue and repress that feminine lover aspect within all of us, genderless feminine energy, giving rise to, it's okay to be me. It's okay that I'm not like other individuals. I'm not here to be them. Their spot's already taken. I'm ready to be here and to rip off this mask and tell you what it is that I'm here to do. And it's like, this is the unmasking aspect. It's like, this is just my skin suit. I don't need this to survive. I am immortal in some way, but Um, depression came up quite a bit in the pre-shuffle. If you're dealing with somebody who is in that depressed state, um, I I'm I hate to bring this into this reading in the least, but I almost feel like I can't avoid it. And don't borrow this knowledge or suggestion if it doesn't belong in your circumstances. But for a moment, I was sensing something about the ideation of discontinuing the human form, if you catch my drift. And sometimes there are those that cannot seem to connect and feel. And in that overstimulation, their systems tend to shut down, and there's an urge to create some sense of sensation or pain on with the cutting. And I hope and pray that you are able um, to get to the bottom of that and to create hope and faith in the renewal process. You are never alone. There are so many of us here who are connecting with you soul to soul that you may never meet, but we are pulling for you and we are giving you a huge hug right now. And maybe somebody in your life just needs to hear that from you, and I'm understanding who that is in my life. And there are several people. There's no one in your life who hasn't always loved you. They're all just learning how to show it, big sillies. You needn't worry. If you are worried about these people, and yeah, we are also learning how to love people more, how to sacrifice maybe our aloofness to be available for others, and to sacrifice our self protective maneuvers and coping mechanisms in order to sacrifice that ego preservation to ask for to ask for reciprocal attention and love. Things are not as they appear. We talked about the surface. The lower the price of your love, the higher its value. Brain freeze, the universe. Yeah, you are high ranking. You are highly valued. They chose you. So there's some opportunity that you're already marked for, and this may be happening on the spiritual level, but there is a destiny or a vision or a book or something that you are here to produce, that spirit knows that you have the unique guidance, intuition, the voice, the experience, and the perspective developed from those experiences. You've been chosen for this life, for these people, for these circumstances, to challenge and grow through this because you're capable, you're worthy, and you will help so many individuals to move away from their darkness and into the light by virtue of your own process of doing so for yourself. Your self-liberation liberates the masses in many ways. You might not readily believe this. It might even spook you a bit, but there are those who chose this very lifetime in part, in large part, knowing you'd be there. Now that's what we call a reputation. Hugs, the universe. Don't forget to hug individuals. Even our growing kids and teenagers. I see a lot of guys do this to their mothers in particular. Moms, you might need to grab your child and squeeze them tight. And even if they're not showing you how valuable your love is, it may be because they're lost in the isolationism, separation energy that's so essential to teenagers when they're learning to individuate and to align with their deeper core self. Even adult children, we're all children, right? Individuation from our own parents and their expectations, our bosses, becoming our own authority by raising our vibration and expanding our presence. You've got some time to navigate this, and it takes as long as it takes. It might have taken you this entire lifetime to get where you're at. It might take you the rest of your lifetime to get where you dream of being. But no matter how old you are, it's never too late. Ever wonder what would make life's fleeting pain and sorrow totally and unquestionably worth it? How about living forever, wildly in love and loved wildly? You have so much to look forward to. Yeah, you've got time. You are timeless. This message is timeless. And you are immortal. You were born with that it quality. What did I tell you? You are chosen. They chose you for this. Do you want to know what's really beautiful? Confidence. Do you want to know what's really powerful? Persistence. Do you want to know what's really sexy? Please, I know about sexy. Not needing to be needed. And if they still don't notice your good looks, your strength, and your sachet, could you feel more sorry for them? Tally ho, the universe. So, yeah, somebody is perhaps emotionally wounded, emotionally shut down, whether it's temporary, situational, or they're stressed out and distracted and overwhelmed. This may be a partner. There's somebody who's not showing you their love language in a way that your love language can translate and understand. And if we compare this to the way that we would navigate that, then we won't understand. But if we can just witness that they have a flux of emotion which is relating to something specific to them, and that others don't always understand our processes and procedures, we can just hold space for them rather than holding expectations, or just like, have you ever heard those people? You're deep in an emotional response, and you're just either venting or looking for somebody to say, "Boy, I understand how you're feeling," but they come at you with like, "Well, you just have to grow up and well, I've just done this," or, "Well, that's not a problem. Just don't take it so personally." It can be dismissive, especially to those who don't have the emotional coping capacities and practice at showing or revealing or being strengthened and empowered in their center. They're in the desert, and we can bring the river through ourselves, and it pours forth from us when we reach this heightened level. And the divine masculine showing up after that Merkaba is about how we can take action through possibly sacrifice. Sacrifice is also a willing surrender to say, my child needs me, or my friend needs me, or I need friends, I need family. We have critical needs that need to be communicated. And in the previous reading, we talked about conversations with God through journaling, or conversations with our darkness or the darkness of others being the shadow of God. It is, and God can be whatever you choose. One of my friends calls it good, orderly direction. Whatever gives you faith and helps you to define your true north is helpful, but it isn't for other people. It's for us. We can model, we can explain and express, and we can show them the way, and we can open the portal and step through and shine bright. But we're just showing them one method of our alchemy here. Conceiving of new ways to be. And sometimes the most helpful way to show somebody how to repair themselves is to show them how to ground their energies into earth, music, breath and body, stretching, nutrition, hydration, rest, and renewal. But yes, use your voice in a merciful way, particularly your inner narrative and inner beliefs. It's time to demonstrate to yourself that you're ready to cross that river. And it might be swiftly moving, but we have the tools to maintain steady ground as we go through these slippery waters. And what comes down the river towards us, it's also divine. So anything else that wants to come out? Let's get a Tao Te Ching message. I want to read the bottom one for whatever reason. 47. Without opening your door, you can open your heart to the world. Without looking out your window, you can see the essence of the Tao. The more you know, the less you understand. The master arrives without leaving, sees the light without looking, achieves without doing a thing. So it's not about comparing or competing or who's done more or is better at something or has more friends or more status, more money. We can liberate ourselves from so many different things by not even leaving our house. And here I am talking about overcoming isolation by recognizing perhaps that we are never alone. We are surrounded by our guides, our guardians, our ancestors. I'm getting chills. Let's split the deck. Number 11. I always like that number here. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center whole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. Thus, the decapitated head for both of these last closing messages. It's about not fearing that we need more or more knowledge or more resources. It's about, we have two hands, most of us, some of us not so much, but symbolically, we have two aspects of self, the up and the down, the masculine and the feminine. The 11 is two selves with the center, the core in the center, the alignment with self. The vessel of body contains the spirit, but the integrity of the vessel, the clarity and consistency and health and the ability to self-love is coming out quite profoundly here with Lover and Comic and Sustainer in the Mask. It's all speaking about remembering to caretake and to be the divine stewards of our containers, of our household, of our environments. For pets, creating even their environment, like cleaning the fish tank, cleaning your dishes. The tidy house is evidence of housekeeping of self. And I would say that living in a dirty, cluttered environment can be as harmful as living in a toxic environment for some. And there's been a need where we're clearing house, releasing to receive, repurposing, helping those less fortunate, sacrificing some of our resources can look like clearing out our closets and giving to a good charity, one that doesn't pay astronomical rates to their CEOs, but takes care of the people by actual selfless. So it's like by giving to those who can repurpose and release is coming in. It's like maybe this old yoga ball or something that this individual is like, yeah, I don't need this. I'm gonna give this away. And then this individual gets it and it transforms their process, that butterfly, they release it out into the world by sharing our process that we're here to do, by sharing and speaking and becoming, the process of becoming. We are being watched by very, very needy eyes, and we might not need to be needed, and we might not want others to rely upon us too much, but they're admiring and following in our footsteps in some type of a way, but needing to do it as their own process as well. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it, and I'll get you some Art of War and leave you at that. So take good care of yourselves. There we go. All right. Speaking in public. Yes, it's time to make a demonstration whereby you're enlightening and inspiring a lot of individuals. The prospect of speaking in public can be terrifying. However, it is a great skill to develop. For Sun Tzu, the quote enemy of the public speaker could be lack of a point, mumbling, reading your speech and making too much out of your mistakes. But to know yourself means know your material, relax, be confident, dress right, sober up, practice, and be yourself. There's nothing worse than having somebody just read out of a book and not connect with you. I did read out of the book right at the beginning, but I try to create some inflection and some inspiration and relate it back to the evolving message. So even if you have a script or something that you need to read, there's a way to put your psychic and intuitive spin and energy and create momentum in the lives of others. And when I used to do some teaching with a group, it was a physical martial arts in this case. It was important to have the person in front of the class convey 10 times the amount of momentum and energy level that you'd want to evoke in the class. So if you want them at a 10, you've got to go to 100. On the backside, Sun Tzu said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt. If you know heaven and know earth, you may make your victory complete. The above and below. All right. Sun Tzu also says, when you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. So, yeah, if you're forcing a hug or something like that, people do not respond well to being cornered. It can create a little scary circumstance. So, our control, if you're fearful of somebody doing any level of self-harm, even if that's somebody who needs to sober up, if you're having an intervention or something like that, leave some type of softening energy, embracing change. There's something about a hug here. Change is inevitable, but many are scared of it. Major life events, leaving home, quitting a job, splitting up with a partner, marriage or divorce are all stressful events. Prepare for the worst, but taking the right risks at the right time will ensure you get through it. The best way to prepare for change is to be the one driving it. So much love, so much chilling connectivity here. I really hope this is helping you in your process. If so, please check out other material and don't forget to hit that like button. It can help us to grow and expand the channel and reach out to more souls that are needing this information. And hopefully it can help you to also unlock your process as well as